Hi, crew. I felt the calling today to talk a little bit about how is it that I receive messages from the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, practicing Reiki, my spiritual path, the awakening, all how that all came to be and why I decided to open this channel and start speaking up. I actually, when I was little, I was told by many, including my grandmother, who used to read the tarot cards, that I have gifts. And I had some premonitions. I can see things. I have a lot of precognitive dreams. Sometimes I could hear things, and sometimes I just had the knowing. But I pretty much kind of ignore it. So through the years, I kind of felt that when the time was right, it was going to happen. And some people will tell me, like, you won't be able to ignore it. You won't be able to ignore it. It's not going to go well to you if you receive the calling and you don't use your gifts, blah, 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 blah. So I ended up having a career in science. And I actually have a doctor's degree and in a field of science. I'll venture into that in the future. But I still have my gifts. I never really worked on them. I had received Reiki through the years, but I never dabble into it or did research about it. And I kind of it crossed the idea that I want to do Reiki one day, but I just let it be. Then when it came to aliens, which is extraterrestrial life and everything else, when I grew up, I will see on TV the Greys, and I will see ship sighting, and I'm like, okay, and scientists about looking for life outside of Earth. And even from a very young age, like a little girl, I was saying, come on, humans, of course there has to be life in outside of Earth. Like, the universe is so vast. And I always thought that it was kind of silly just to judge life by, is there water in this planet, or or different sources. And I'm like, well, we're just judging life based on what we have here. And so growing up, I always said, of course there's life in other planets, I'm pretty sure, but you know what, I don't bother them and they don't bother me. I just kind of left it that way. I never looked into it at all, which is kind of funny in that sense. And in the spiritual part, I've tried different religions and I never quite fit in many of them. And I still like to read about different religions and cultures too, and why people believe the way they do. I think is very fascinating to me, but I just never fit in. But now, actually, now I see everything I went through prepare me to where I am now. And it's kind of creepy sometimes how everything just adds up so perfectly. It's like it was the perfect timing for everything, and how I needed to learn all of this in order to be where I'm at. Fast forward to my work life. I was at a point where I was so stressed out by work. All I did was work and think about work 24/7, and it was just driving me insane. I would just come here, home, rush, do a couple of things, sit down, work, and it's just it took a toll in my life. And I said, if I don't do something, I'm just going to lose myself. I'm going to lose my mind. So at that point, I said, I need to manage my stress. So I enlisted in a meditation app. And I said, the only way, at least I'm going to meditate a tiny bit each day. And I said, the only way I can develop a habit is if I force myself to do it for a period of time. So I did one that it was going to take me, it took me 3 months to do. But every day I meditated. I think I only skipped a couple of days total. And when I tell you how hard it was for me just to take 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes, just to listen to something and meditate, I'm telling you, it's like a vice that I was working against my brain, who just refused to just take literally 10 minutes out of my time for myself. And luckily I had the support of my husband too to do this. So after I completed the 3 months, and it helped me a lot, I continue to this day to do meditations. And I decided to try sound therapy. I was always I like instruments. I grew up and I was in a choir. I play instruments. So I decided to try the singing bowls, crystal singing bowls. And I played with them for myself for a couple of months. And it completely changed my life. I started feeling so much better. And then I took some courses on it too, on sound therapy, and I got really good at playing the crystal singing bowls. And of course, once you start with those things, then you keep adding more things. And with that, I think it really helped me a lot, start healing a lot with the crystal singing bowls, that meditation and playing the bowls a couple times a week. That led me to all the things open it up. Fast forward, I had a dream, which for me was pretty strange, because in the dream was what I come to know as a mantis being. And I found myself in this ship, and part of me was confused of what is going on, and the other part seemed to be very familiar with everything. And the mantis being was explaining to me about their suits. And he's explaining to me like we known each other, and I'm asking him like, why are you telling me this? Like, who are you? And he said, like, because you asked me. So I thought the whole experience was weird, but I just let it be because that's the person I am. Then some weeks later, I took a trip, and in that trip, I had a spiritual experience, and in this experience, I met the Arcturians. I didn't know anything about extraterrestrial races or the real story of us or anything till that point. And let's say my whole experience with the Arcturians, that deserved its own video. But it completely changed my life. But I still had a choice. So a lot was said to me and a lot was shown in that experience. And I was in shock for several days. But I had to make the decision. Me being a person of science, I try to rule everything out. And with that, I made the choice like, I can't make this up. But following that meant changing completely all my beliefs and changing my life. But I did the jump. And since then, it's been a process. Once I made that decision where like, I'm going to trust now my intuition, things started to happen where I got messages like, you need to travel. You need to visit different places. And all of a sudden I found myself booking a couple of things, a couple of workshops. And then all of a sudden you need to learn Reiki. I always wanted to learn Reiki, but I kind of like never made an effort or look into it. And all of a sudden like a teacher, this is like, no, it has to be with this one. And it's like, I started my journey with Reiki, and I completed my master in Reiki master and Holy Fire Reiki. And I'm also an animal Reiki master because I love working with animals. That was kind of like my goal. And I continued that spiritual path. During that part too, I started researching and started reading. Me being, my ADHD, hyper focus, all of a sudden I just jumped into it. I wanted to learn everything about races and the true history of us, and I'm still doing that till this day. Plus, learning about Reiki at the same time. And it's amazing just in like 2 years how much it's changed my life, how much my beliefs have changed. And I'm a completely different person. And Reiki is part of my daily life. I practice Reiki every single day. And I practice even active meditation because sometimes you don't even have to sit down. You can do, do certain activities and do active meditation. But it's just like part of me is also understanding part of why I opened this channel is because there's a lot of people like out there like me that are afraid to speak up of what people are going to think about me. I worked along researchers and people of science, and I've slowly in the last year started open up, but I've really just opened up more about Reiki. And some people it's surprising, some people are very accepting, others are not. Even in my family, my husband is very supported and he's awakened too. My mom, she's okay with it. My sister's awakened too. But my dad is like, absolutely not. And I have family members that are like, absolutely not to anything of my beliefs right now. So I know how hard it is. So I just wanted to say hi and say that I understand that it can be really hard for a lot of you to be open. So I'm just taking this chance, and I'm going to be uploading more videos about different experiences, including the first experience with the Arcturians. But lately, I still receive messages from the Arcturians. They tend to be like more short to the point. But in the last month, the Pleiadians are the ones that are coming through so much and contacting me more and more often. So we can chat about that in the future. And welcome to my TikTok. Thank you.